Hello everyone, I hope everyone is having an amazing day today. We are just officially going live. We had a slight malfunction. I'm Jake Ducey and we're going to be talking today about not letting the negativity of the world brainwash you. So obviously this is a huge, amazing community, over 1.8 million people from all around the world that all want to inspire, educate, change the world, step into their dreams. So if that sounds fun and exciting to you, we're going to talk about not letting the negativity of the world brainwash you. Comment in where you're from, just as we wait for people to get in. Again, I'm Jake Ducey, a TEDx speaker and two-time published author with Penguin Random House. So we're going to be talking about not letting the negativity of the world brainwash you. So comment in where you're from. I'm in sunny San Diego, California in the United States. So comment in and we'll wait for people to come in. Kavan, what's up, Adrian? If you're part of this community, you're an amazing human being that has great gifts, wants to change the world, is excited about inspiration, stepping into your dreams, but you know, all we need to do is just look right now. There's a lot of negativity in the world. And so my intention on this live stream is to give you a couple things that you can take with you, with your dreams, with your vision, with your gifts, and that you can use when you face resistance and negativity. Because what happens is we get brainwashed by the negativity of the world. There's a lot of people not living in their dreams. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of arguments. And it's easy to let that infiltrate our minds and it kind of pulls us down. So comment in where you're from. Again, this is Jake Ducey. I'm a new page ambassador, and we're going to be talking about not letting the negativity of the world brainwash us. So who does that sound good to? Comment in, give some likes, give it some shares. Let's see how many people we can reach, how many people we can inspire. Let me know if that sounds good to... It's like, what would our lives be like if we could kind of master and navigate the negativity of the world? Because you're probably someone that has a big dream and maybe the negativity or fear or failure has stopped you in the past. So comment in. Let me know where you're from. London. I'm in sunny San Diego. Australia. What's up, everyone? We're gonna drop in just another couple minutes. You guys are all amazing human beings, part of an awesome community, and there's so many people with amazing gifts, and we get stumped by the world. We get stopped by the world. We get stopped by ourselves because the negativity gets into us. Everyone is brainwashed if you really think about it. We're all brainwashed in some way, shape, or form. A lot of times the outside world just brainwashes us. So we're going to be talking about some cool stuff that you can use as soon as you leave this to bring more inspiration, to create more success in your life, to create more impact in the world. So comment in where you're from, just a couple more minutes, and then we'll get cracking. Who does that? Comment yes if this sounds good. Starting my own business in March this year. Ryan Blake starting his own business. Everyone say congratulations to Ryan Blake. That's awesome, man. We right now we need more and more people stepping into their dreams, even when it scares them. How do we forget the evil that is happening? Do we ignore it? We'll address that. I don't think that we forget it, but there's a difference between letting it take over our lives and starting to get pessimistic on the future and being able to use it for good, right? I've been trying to study so I can get a job. So just reading in some of these comments. Everyone comment in where you're from. Love to know where everyone's from. Press the share button. Obviously you guys know Educate, Inspire, Change is an amazing page. So be sure that you're pressing notifications on because Facebook makes it so only a select few people that are subscribed to pages actually see posts. So you can see more of the awesome work that Kasim's putting out. Be sure that you do that. Again, I'm Jake Ducey, TEDx speaker, two-time author with Penguin Random House. And we're going to be talking about how to not let the world brainwash you. So we got awesome people from all over the world. There's probably already 30 countries in here. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're excited. Who here thinks that if the negativity outside of you didn't pull you under or didn't affect you, who here thinks that you could achieve some amazing things? Goals for financial freedom this year, 1 credit card left. That's awesome. Someone commented in that their goals are financial freedom this year. So comment in where you're from. We'll get cracking. We'll get going. We'll get excited. I'm in sunny San Diego, California. And we probably got 30 communities on here. Love the positivity. See, this is such a cool community. And right now in the world, obviously there's a lot of negativity. And the more people that we have that are stepping into their dreams, starting their own businesses, making a difference in the community, just being an inspiring person in the grocery store, like that's what we need. We need more of that energy, more of that light, more of that joy. And then we can create real change. So just a couple more seconds, comment in where you're from. We can see that the live viewers are starting to pick up as we're on a little bit longer. Just waiting a couple more minutes. I know sometimes it's like, okay, start, but just wait a couple more minutes. Again, I'm Jake Ducey. I'm a page admin for Inspire, Educate, Change. And we're going to be talking about how to not let the negativity of the world brainwash you. Thank you for saying that my smile radiates positivity. If you notice, if we can be the people that are starting to fill the news feed up with positivity and inspiration and hope, there's so much negativity right now in news feeds, especially on social media. If we can all agree, say yes, comment yes if you take up the mission to be someone that brings more hope, joy, and inspiration to the world. If the thousands of people that are going to be on this page, I bet there's going to be over 30 or 40,000 people that will watch this. If we can all agree to do this, to be the people that we don't let the negativity of the world pull us down and we bring more inspiration and hope and joy to other people, that's real change. Because what happens is we slowly start to get engulfed by the negativity of the world, or you have a big dream to start your own business, or as someone said, creating financial freedom. But then we kind of check in maybe to the stock market or the economy, or you get some advice, quote unquote, from someone that says, you can't really do that. Here's a first takeaway that you can use. Say to yourself, that's not part of my belief system. That's not part of my belief system. See, we have this beautiful thing, and that's the free will to create our own belief systems. And what happens is someone says you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not this enough, you don't have the resources, there's too much negativity in the world, you can't help whatever cause you're passionate about, whether it's ending child hunger, or creating more opportunity, or you want to help people with healthcare products you started, whatever your vision, you want to be a painter, you want to be a writer, whatever your vision is, most people in our world are not living their dreams. They just aren't. It's just the way it is. So people will tell you, you can't do it and you can't do this. So you just start to say, that's not part of my belief system. So if you remember one thing, you're going to forget a lot of the things that I say. Remember, that's not part of my belief system. And when you start to develop that philosophy, you can start to reject ideas that aren't in alignment with your inner vision. Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple, it was called his reality distortion field. Seriously, the people that worked at Apple, and say yes if you've heard this before, if you think this is cool, give this some hearts, give this some likes. Obviously, this is a new thing, and based off of the engagement and how much people enjoy this, we'll decide to do more of this. So give this some hearts, give this some likes. If you're just joining us, I'm Jake Ducey. We're talking about how to not let the negativity of the world brainwash you. So Steve Jobs called it his reality distortion field, and that's what everyone at Apple called it too. His reality distortion field was he didn't accept the outside world and the limitations of the outside world. And so often, and I'm sure you're out there, one of you, probably thousands of you, have amazing gifts to offer to the world, amazing dreams to go make a difference or start your business or travel around the world or hit a new financial goal to help your family or your children. You have amazing dreams. Say yes if you know what your dream is. Just comment in, say yes if you know what your dreams are. Because what happens is we head out in the day and then we scroll the news feed and there's some negativity in it and then it slowly starts to affect us. And then we look out and we see maybe the stock market's not doing that well, or that one person says that you can't do this, and it slowly starts to affect us. But see, you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So your conscious mind is if I say the sky's red, you're like, no, the sky's not red, you're crazy, right? The conscious mind is the ability to accept or reject information, accept or reject ideas. And then the subconscious mind, psychologists tell us 95% of our life is subconscious, that you have 65,000 thoughts in a day. I have 65,000 thoughts in a day. And 95% of them are subconscious, meaning they're unconscious. They're just patterns and programs that we kind of just play out over and over again. Like when you drive to the store and you don't even remember driving to the store. Has that ever happened to you? Say yeah, you can admit it. If you've ever driven to the store before and maybe you were on your phone and you don't really even remember driving, right? That's the unconscious mind. Or you walk up to an ATM machine and you can't think of what your PIN number is, but your fingers type it in really fast. That's the unconscious mind acting before the conscious mind is there. So what happens is you have a big dream, you have a big goal, you think that you can make a difference like Martin Luther King or like Gandhi or like Mother Teresa or like whomever it is. You think that you can do this, which you can because, by the way, 99.999999999% anatomically, you and I are the same as anyone who's ever lived. We have access to the same capability, the same powers. I always say that everyone's a genius. The world just de-geniuses us. You know what I mean? Like, we all have these gifts and these visions, but we slowly start to believe these false stories that we're not smart enough, that, the resources are limited, that, who am I? There's so much bad things happening in the world, so I can't do it. What we need right now is people who go out and create amazing opportunities. They create businesses that provide jobs and services for people. People who are out there moving and shaking and smiling, even amidst all of the chaos and stress in the world. That's what's going to pull us all off, because people will say, what's that person doing? What are they? What's up with them? And then we all get inspired to start stepping into our visions or our dreams. So you have a conscious mind that can accept or reject anything. So when someone says, you can't do this, you can reject it by saying, that's not part of my belief system. When someone says no, Jack Canfield says, you say next, no next. That's not part of my belief system. So you can use that when you walk out in the world and then you start to think you're not good enough, or someone says you can't do it. That's not part of my belief system. So if that speaks to you, if that alone is a cool takeaway, say yes. Just comment, yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Give it some hearts. Give this some shares. The more people we reach, the more we make the world a more inspiring, powerful, beautiful, happy, healthy, well place to live. So press share, support, educate, inspire, change. And think about this, right? You have to protect your peace of mind. Has anyone, when you're little, or maybe you have kids now, and your kid thought there was a monster under the bed, or when you were little, you thought there was a monster under your bed? Has that ever happened to you? I can think about being a kid, right? And it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, Mom! And my mom runs into the room and she's like, what the heck? Jake, this is the second time that's happened tonight. There's no monsters under your bed, right? She pulls me out of the bed and she makes me go look underneath the bed. And I'm like, oh, there's not a monster there. But I thought there was a monster there and I couldn't sleep, right? Because my mind started to think something. There's a monster under my bed. There's a monster under my bed. So my nervous system responded to that. My hands start getting sweaty. My heart starts beating, right? Can you think of that? Your hands get sweaty. Your heart starts beating. Maybe you have a kid and they think there's a monster under their bed, or you can think about when you thought that. Or maybe you're like me when I was little. One time I thought there was a burglar in my house, but there wasn't, and you grab your coffee mug like you're going to hit the burglar, or you call the cops. I called the cops when I was little. I thought there was a burglar. I was legitimately scared. My hands were sweaty. My heart was beating. Physiologically, I was responding to the thoughts that I was thinking. My nervous system was responding, pumping me full of fear. So I thought something was true that wasn't true. And my question to you is, what thoughts that you think are true actually aren't true? Right? There's a monster under your bed and we respond to it, right? There's a burglar in my house, we respond to it. Or someone thinks that they're getting cheated on by their partner and they believe it, they're stressed, they're worried, it turns out they're not, or they think they're going to get fired, it turns out they don't, but they believe it, right? And we do that. We do that with stories that we tell ourselves, that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not this enough. Did you know that Richard Branson, billionaire Richard Branson, he created the Virgin companies. He's a billionaire. He calls the company Virgin because he was a dyslexic middle school kid when he started Virgin. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about business. I might as well call it Virgin. If you're on this live stream, the right moment is waiting for you to stop waiting for the right moment. The right moment is waiting for you. Your dreams are waiting for you to look under the bed, metaphorically, and say, is that really a real thing that has to stop me? Or is that just a monster under my bed? Right? And then you can put up the reality distortion field like Steve Jobs. You just don't accept that the outer world has to limit you. But if you grasp the way that the nervous system works, the way that your subconscious mind works, is that you have this amazing power where the dominant ideas that start to develop in your mind, your nervous system responds and you respond to them physiologically. You think there's a monster under your bed, your hands sweating, your heart's beating. You think there's a robber in your house. You think that you're limited because of the economy, but we forget that people created millions of jobs for people and created billion-dollar empires and impacted the world in a positive way, even during the Great Depression. And we forget these things. But remind yourself, you're the exception to every rule. And we need more people that start to believe they're the exception to every rule, that you can go out and you can make a difference in the world and you can build your business. And whatever your talents and gifts and ideas are, you can offer it to the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson has a really cool quote, and he says, "The genius that you see in others is your own rejected thoughts." That's pretty powerful. The genius you see in others is your own rejected thoughts. Think about some of the ideas that you have that you're rejecting right now. Comment yes, or even write out what they are. What's one of your visions, your goals, your dreams? And then think about what are the reasons or ideas you're rejecting it. And are those reasons and ideas, are they just monsters under your bed? Are they just silly stories that we've never stepped into to examine if they're actually true? And what happens is, most people bring all of their dreams to the cemetery. Not because they're not good enough or smart enough, there's not enough resources, or there's not enough opportunities. It's because we believe the stories that we tell ourselves as to why it's not happening. And pretty soon it is real because we're responding on a physiological level. Our nervous system responding to it. When someone says you can't do this, when this happens, when that happens. So you remind yourself, that's not part of my belief system. Tamar said she's a singer and she wants to start busking. There's this amazing artist, his name's John Butler. He's a huge artist now, Australian, John Butler Trio. He started his whole career by busking. If you have a dream, it's crazy for you not to pursue it. It's crazy for you not to pursue it because what's going to happen is that there's going to slowly but surely, it's like, has that ever happened to you where you had this awesome idea, but then someone else acted on it, and then like 6 or 12 months later, you were like, dang it, that was my idea. Or like, I know I could have done that. Has that ever happened to you? Because it's bound to happen to all of us if we don't at least face those fears. Right? But what happens is the world brainwashes. We start to believe these ideas just like the monster is under your bed and you think there's a monster in your bed and it isn't there. It's these unexamined stories and beliefs and perceptions that actually control us and brainwash us. So you think there's a monster in your bed, you can't sleep at night, but then when you look under your bed, you realize it's not there and all of a sudden you're like, I can sleep now. But then we have these monsters that were not smart enough, even though Richard Branson's a billionaire and created Virgin, and he was a 16-year-old dyslexic kid that didn't know what he was doing. And we find out all these things, like Elvis Presley, was told to go back and be a semi-truck driver because he wasn't good enough. The Beatles were denied by Decca recording studios because they were said they were unfit for television. We hear all these things, but then the media sets it up that these people are special, these stars, these people that impact the world and are successful are special and we're not. And I'm here to say that I invite you to consider that that shouldn't be part of your belief system. Steve Jobs said the world was built by people that are no smarter than you. So if you're just joining us, I'm Jake Ducey, and we're going live to talk about how to not let the negativity of the world brainwash you. Please share this. Someone said, can I share this? Share this. Please share this. We're trying to reach, inspire as many people as we possibly can. If you probably found this page, Educate, Inspire, Change, because somebody else shared it, let's reach and inspire as many people as we possibly can. Press share. You could head over and press the notifications in the top corner. Head over to my page. So what I do is I record it just like a hypnosis. And I just listen to it, and it just tells me over and over again how successful I am. Because what happens is we start to believe outer influences more than we believe in our own dreams. Right? It's like somebody else says this is possible, and we never check. But get this. Arthur Schopenhauer, he said that most people mistake the limits of their field of vision as the limits of reality. Most people mistake the limits of their field of vision as reality. You only see a little bit of visible light. Our senses, our eyes, can only comprehend a little bit of available light. There's way more happening and moving that you can't see, right? Like your senses only perceive so much of the light and sound of reality, of actually what's happening. Dogs can hear what we can't hear. Our senses can only see so many things. So lack of evidence is an evidence of lack. So when you step out in the world, you start to say, that's not part of my belief system. You start to move confidently in the direction of your dreams. Remember that just because you can't see amazing things happen yet, doesn't mean they aren't actually happening. Someone might need to come from China or Germany or New York or California or Canada to be your business partner, or your soulmate might be on the other side of the world. Lack of evidence is an evidence of lack. Just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it hasn't happened yet. And if you look at the biggest influencers of human history, whether it's Gandhi or Steve Jobs or Rosa Parks, it doesn't matter who it is, like whether it's a business innovator or a technological innovator or it's a humanitarian, they've always kept an optimistic outlook on reality, even though it was pessimistic all around. So you have to protect your peace of mind and not let the outside world limit you and control you and stop you. Lack of evidence isn't evidence of lack. There are so many resources out there in the world. There's so many opportunities with the internet and all these amazing things out there in the world. We live in an abundant, powerful world with so much out there for us. Remember, lack of evidence isn't evidence of lack. Just because you haven't seen it yet, there's no reason to stop. So get clear on what your vision is. When all of us are clear on what our visions are and we're moving confidently in the direction of our dreams, we become powerful, right? The media gets infatuated by the idea of visionary, right? You hear Steve Jobs as a visionary. All a visionary is someone who lives from their inner vision. Lives from their inner vision. So I'm saying, don't accept the limits of the outer world. That's our real power. If the Wright brothers could bend a piece of metal and fly it over the ocean, if Thomas Edison could flip a switch and lights can come on, I promise you, you can achieve your impossible. You can reach your biggest financial goals. You can impact the amount of people that you want to make. You can live where you want to live, in the house that you want to live, with the career that you want, making the difference that you want to make. And remember, whenever the negativity comes up, that's not part of my belief system. And ask yourself, is that just a monster under my bed? Remember, I said that when we're little, we think there's monsters under our bed. We can't sleep. Our nervous system responds to it. Our hands get sweaty. Our heart starts beating. We think there's a monster in our bed, and it isn't. But then our mom or our dad or whoever's taking care of you says, look under your bed. And then all of a sudden, you can relax because the monster wasn't real. You just thought it was real. Well, what are the monsters that you tell yourself about not being good enough and smart enough and powerful enough? Is that you are just as powerful as anyone who's ever walked in the world. If you don't compare yourself to them and you step into your own vision and your own unique gifts, you can achieve amazing things in due time. Tony Robbins says most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. They overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. So what's your 20, 30, 40-year vision? And you have that big vision, when you meet objection or failure or you get ridiculed, you remind yourself, when someone says no, I say next, no next, no next. I just keep going because I'm in love with this idea, with this vision. The world won't stop me. This is my vision. That's not part of my belief system. I'm not limited by the economy. I'm not limited by resources. I'm not limited by my old grades in college or my education or my lack thereof or my connections or lack thereof. The right people will show up. Most people just tell themselves these stories in the head that they're not good enough or smart enough or they're limited by whatever reason, so they never start to see that they're way closer than they thought they were. So what could you really do this year? What amazing things could you really do? And remember, press share on this, share this video, tag all of your friends, tag everyone you can think of. We're in this together and we're way more powerful than we think. So what could you really do this year? Like, I just wake up and I listen to my hypnosis every day. It just tells me how successful I am. Because then I'm programming my mind before the negativity of the world programs it. And we got to start doing this. We got to start programming ourselves before the negativity of the world programs us. So you wake up in the morning and you affirm your vision. You read your vision to yourself. Write your vision or your goal out. You read that to yourself. And you start to step into your vision and you just reject the outer world. I'd rather be a dreamer than a hopeless, pessimistic realist. Because anyone who has ever moved the needle of human history has been an idealist, a visionary, an optimist. George Bernard Shaw says that the unreasonable person is the only person that ever changes the world. Most people adapt themselves to the world. Well, I'll just adapt. I'm not that smart. I'll just kind of give up. I'll just fit in. I'll just, not me. But the unreasonable person says, I'm going to change this. I'm going to shape this. Steve Jobs says the world was built by people that are no smarter than you. And when you realize that, you can mold the world. You can shape the world. You can reach your big financial goals. Write your big financial goals. Write your big impact and spiritual and mission goals out. Write them out. Read them every day. Inject that into your mind. Just like when a new like Drake song comes on, right? Everyone's singing, I know when the hotline bling. Or if I just sing merry-go-round, Mary had a merry-go-round thingy, whatever it's called, for 30 minutes, eventually that'll start singing in your head. You'll be like, I hate that guy Jake Ducey because he's got that song stuck in my head. What is that? That's the unconscious, the subconscious that's playing whatever has been brainwashed into you over and over and over again. And that's the way it works. Whatever is brainwashed into you will slowly start to manifest itself as reality. And what I'm saying is, you have the beautiful ability to hold the vision of what you want in your life. Like if you can imagine the worst thing that could happen, a monster into your bed, a robber in your house, you could also imagine the best that could happen. If you could believe something that's not true, like a monster under your bed, and you could live as if that reality is true, you could also imagine who you want to be and the life you want to live, and you could live that reality. It's the same thing. If you could imagine the worst that could happen, and you could live that out and get scared and worried and not sleep at night because you think that you're limited financially, or there's a monster under your bed, or you're never going to meet your soulmate, or you're going to get fired, or the world's going to go into World War III and we're all going to die. If you could believe something that actually hasn't happened yet and it negatively affects you, you could also believe in a positive, optimistic, amazing future, and you can live that reality out even though it doesn't seem like it's possible. Because lack of evidence isn't evidence of lack. You only see a little bit of visible light. There's way more happening than we can actually comprehend. Someone might be coming from Australia or China that you're going to meet tomorrow or next week. Believe in your better future. Believe that you can do amazing things. But how? Someone said, but how? Well, a beautiful way to start is pull out a piece of paper and write your vision out. What is your vision, right? We don't know what to do or how unless we first have a vision. And then start going one by one. What are some steps that I can take on my vision? Right? What happens is we have a big vision, but we never take action because we don't see all the steps and how it can work out. So then we don't do anything, right? So what are the steps that you can take? Just slowly start bulleting one by one by one by one by one by one. And if anyone's inspired by this, like I said, I record my own hypnosis. I've just been doing it all the time. I'm like, I'm going to brainwash myself before the world does. So I'll put it in the comments. It's just jakeshypnosis.com. It's like once you start taking action one by one, just start marking your vision out, taking little steps. Jack Canfield calls it the rule of 5. The creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul series calls it the rule of 5. 5 things every single day to move closer to my goal. They may not all be big things. Some of them might be send one little email, make one little call, go knock on the door, go show your work to someone, go talk to this person. But take one little step every single day, 2 little steps, 3 little steps every single day. And then the whole year, 365 days out of the year, times 3 or 5 things you're doing every day. I'm not very good at math, but that's like over 1,000 inspired actions you can take in the course of the year. You can do amazing things if you have this large vision and you start taking steps. And then remember, what happens is we face one failure and we think, well, this isn't meant to be, But remind yourself, when someone says no, you say next. When you get rejected, you say next, right? That's not part of my belief system. So when your friends or your family say, that's great, but you probably can't do that, you say, thank you for sharing, but that's not part of my belief system. Right? Steve Jobs called it his reality distortion field. Steve Jobs isn't a special gifted human being that you aren't. The Wright brothers who bent a piece of metal and flew it over the ocean aren't a special human being that you aren't. Right? Thomas Edison, who could flip a switch and make lights come on, he's not a special human being. Give some likes, give some shares if you're with me on this. I just want to see if everyone's with me on this. Give some likes, give some shares, give some hearts if this speaks to you. Obviously, like I said, the degree to which this is engaged and cool, we'll do more of them. So let me know if I sound like a crazy person or if this is exciting. So remember those things. You're going to forget a lot of the things that I say. When someone says no, you say next, no next, no next, no next, no next. And remember what Jack Canfield also says. He says, some will say yes, some will say no. So what? Someone's waiting. Someone wants what you have to offer. Someone wants your service or your product or your smile or your love or your friendship or your relationship or your business. They want it. SW, 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 SW. So remember that. SW, 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 SW. Some will say yes. Some will say no. So what? Someone's waiting. Someone's waiting for what you have to offer to the world, your gifts, your beautiful service. And it's crazy if you don't go deliver that to the world. So you just keep reminding yourself, that's not part of my belief system. That's not part of my belief system. That's not part of my belief system. And what happens is slowly our belief systems get infiltrated by the negativity of the world and we give up. Slowly we're like, yeah, I'm not that smart. Yeah, I'm really not that smart. And we start to slowly, the negativity of the world affects our belief system. What I'm saying is you have a conscious mind to it. Reject that information, reject those ideas, reject that event, that negativity, that failure, and start to say, that's not part of my belief system, that you can step into this higher vision for yourself if you take slow and consistent actions each and every single day. Each and every single day. No next. When someone says no, you say next. SW, SW, SW. Some will say yes, some will say no. So what? Someone's waiting. And then remember this one. That's not part of my belief system. It's not part of my belief system. You might think that you're limited, You might think this. You might think that you're limited by the economy. I don't think that. That's not part of my belief system. It's just not. And then you can ask yourself slowly but surely, is this really a legitimate fear? You may be scared. Nelson Mandela says courage isn't the absence of fear. It's when you're scared and you do something anyways. So what is your big things that scare you, your big ideas and visions and dreams that scare you that maybe you've been rejecting and suppressing? Remember, Ralph Waldo Emerson says that the genius you see in others is your own rejected ideas. The genius you see in others is your own rejected ideas. And what happens is we have all these big visions and we're like, I'm not smart enough. When you're being inspired, pulled by some big vision, you got to just face that fear, even though it scares the crap out of you. Join this community, step back in, be a part of people that will inspire you. Reject the negative ideas. That's not part of your belief system. And then when you step into that, Patanjali, the creator of the Yoga Sutras, said, when you're inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary bond, dormant forces become active, and you find yourself to be a more powerful person than you ever imagined. You don't know how powerful you are because you've never stepped fully into your vision. Because the monster under your bed, right, you've thought it was real. And I'm saying, look under your bed and see if that monster is real. See if that monster is legitimate. See. Just look. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the world, to the people that you can serve with your real dream, with your real gift, with your real art. You owe it to them to step into that, even if it scares you. Everyone is a genius. The world just generally de-geniuses us. We generally start to think we're not that good, we're not that smart, we're not that this, we're not that. So press share on this. Again, I'm Jake Ducey. Be sure to go in the notifications and check out make sure you click that you want to be notified first for the Inspire, Educate, Change page, because Facebook sets up their logarithms so that not everyone sees it. So if you dig this, say I love this, let Kasim know I love this. We could start doing this on a weekly basis or a monthly basis and see how many people we can reach, how many people we can serve. So remember those takeaways because you're going to be inspired after listening to this, but I don't want you to be inspired. I want you to remember tangibly that's not part of my belief system. When someone says no, you say next. SW, SW, SW. Your rule of 5. Just take an index card and write out 5 things every day. If you don't need to work for 18 hours a day, you just put 2, 3, 4 hours into your work, into your vision, into your dreams. And remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's when you're scared and you do something anyways. If Richard Branson created a multi-billion-dollar company called Virgin, right? Everyone's heard of Virgin. He created it as a 16-year-old dyslexic kid and called it Virgin because he was a virgin at business and he didn't know what he was doing. He had no idea what he was doing. So he's like, I'll just call this Virgin. If he could do it, you could do it, right? If the Wright brothers, who were bicycle mechanics, they were the Wright brothers who created the first airplane, bent a piece of metal and flew it over the ocean. They were bicycle mechanics. So I promise you that you're capable of a lot more than you can imagine. Winston Churchill says, if we did the things we're actually capable of doing, we would astonish ourselves. So you put your reality distortion field on. You don't let the world influence you, right? Just like you can think there's a monster in your bed. Start to imagine what your vision is, what your vision looks like. Start stepping powerfully into it, sharing your ideas, making people smile, inspiring them every single day. And you're doing your rule of 5. Just 5 things every single day. 5 things every single day, and you're making serious, inspired action. But the problem is we start to believe other people's belief systems, limited by resources, even though there's people that created billion-dollar companies that hired thousands of people during the Great Depression. We think, well, I'm limited by the economy. You're not limited by the economy. If you find some powerful gift, some powerful vision, and you serve people, you're golden. And every single person has that vision. Every single person has that gift, that dream. So if this speaks to you, give this some likes, give this some shares, give this some comments. I'm about to head off. If there's any questions, I'll try and answer them. If this speaks to you, keep going. Someone said, if this speaks to you, I do my own hypnosises. Like I just record them and I just listen to them because I don't want the world to brainwash me. I don't want the news and Facebook news feeds and all these people complaining to brainwash me into having a pessimistic outlook on my future and the world and the opportunities to make a difference. So I just record my hypnosis and I just listen to it. I'm like, so whatever that is for you, writing your vision down in the morning, certain music, exercise, meditation, visualization in the morning, you can use that before the world brainwashes you. And then when your friends say something, you just say, that's not part of my belief system. When your mom says something, that's not part of my belief system. You don't have to have everyone get it. Not everyone needs to understand you. You just need to feel it. You just need to feel it. You need to feel that it's true for you. Even if other people don't understand it, even if other people don't get it, you just feel it and move confidently in the direction of your dreams, and success will meet you at uncommon hours. That's what Henry David Thoreau says. When you move confidently in the direction of your dreams and you're not looking around like, hey, is this a good idea? Hey, is this a good idea? Can I do this? Is this possible? And you move confidently in the direction of your dreams, success will meet you at uncommon hours, because you'll meet this person that you've been wanting to meet and they'll show up out of nowhere. You'll get some new resources, some new opportunities out of nowhere. You won't see it happening, but it'll just happen. And you'll get this lucky special break. That's the way it works. But what happens is no one really gets to experience that because we give up before we ever get going. We let the negativity of the world infiltrate us. We don't use Steve Jobs' reality distortion field. It's like, people always used to tell me, because I'm 25, and when I was 19, I wrote my first book. No one would publish it. And everyone said, you're too young, blah, blah, blah. Every publishing company denied me. So I went out on my own. I filled my car up with books. And now 5 years later, published with the world's #1 publisher, Penguin Random House, giving a TEDx talk, travel all around the world, running seminars. And it was because the world was telling me who I could and could not be. It tried to define my limits. But I said, I don't believe that. I see and feel my vision, and I know it's true, and I owe it to myself to follow this thing, even if the world limits me. So that's how I'm here today. And I share with that so that you can see what is really possible for you. Like if you actually step into your dreams, and you're like, this year, I am going to do it. So many more things are possible. Remember, Arthur Schopenhauer says most people mistake the limits of their field of vision for the limits of the world. They mistake what they can see as the limits. Just because you can't see your future and everything panning out to you doesn't mean you're limited. Remember, lack of evidence is an evidence of lack. Lack of evidence is an evidence of lack. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not possible. Just baby steps, small steps every day. So if you have any questions, you can comment them in. Otherwise, I'll probably head off soon. You can press share. Please press the share button. Make sure you head up in the corner and get notified by all the posts by Educate, Inspire, Change. Comment. Let us know if you love this so we can decide whether to do more. Obviously, that's up to Kasim, who runs his page. But like he said in his post that's pinned to the top, it doesn't matter. You got to just decide to do it. Mark Twain says that most people are disappointed, not because of the things that they did do, but the things they didn't do. So what are those things that you haven't done because you think that you're limited by some reason? And even though you're scared, like I came on, I'm nervous. I don't know all these, people on here, right? Like I'm used to talking to my community. I got nervous, right? But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's when we're scared and we do something anyways. So comment in what one scared thing. SWSWSW stands for some will say yes. Like some will say yes. Yeah, great idea. Go for it. Some will say yes. Some will say no. A lot of people will say no. They'll say, that's stupid. That's a bad idea. You can't do that. Here's why you can't do it. No, I don't want that. That's stupid. So what? So what if some people say no? Because someone's waiting. Someone is waiting. Someone's waiting for your gifts or your talents, or they want to be your business partner, or they want to, they're looking for a soulmate too. Someone is waiting for whatever it is that you have to offer. There are other people, there are billions of people on the planet. There are other people that want your services, your visions. They want to be a part of your team. So what? Someone's waiting for it. So that's what SWSWSW is. Remember, that's not part of my belief system. You don't have to accept the belief system of the outer world. And if you look at all the greatest achievers of human history, they never have. Just see your vision. What's the best that could happen? See that, the best that could happen. And then just don't accept the outer world. Remember, lack of evidence isn't evidence of lack. So if you dig this, again, I'm Jake Ducey. I tag my page. You could come over to my community where I do a lot of these videos and a lot of other awesome stuff. So you could head over. Be sure to comment and let us know that you dig this. Be sure to, like I said, click the notifications in the top. We need more inspiring things in our news feed. So be sure that you click the thing in the top so you're notified. Sorry, I got a phone call. So be sure that you click that so you're notified by all that. And remember, just make it your goal to not let anything outside of you influence you. You are the one that has command over your mind. And you can always go back to that story about the monster under your bed, right? Like we used to think there was monsters under our bed and it would totally limit us. Like we'd get scared and our heart would beating. We think there's a burglar in our house. Like what other stories and ideas like that do you tell yourself that really aren't even true, but you just believe that they're true and they limit you? So like, what is the best that could happen this year? Like if you really step into your vision and your gifts and your dreams, what's the best that could happen? It's not, none of the negativity is part of my belief system. I choose not to accept it. And when I feel it and I start to think that, I take a step back. I say, okay, here's this silly little story. Is that true? No, it's not true. So press share on this. Everyone press share on this. Yeah, right. Pasha said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. That's a Martin Luther King quote. Just first step, next step, next step, next step, next step. When you're inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary cause or vision or idea, dormant forces become active. You find yourself smarter than you ever thought, more talented than you ever thought, more amazing than you ever thought. And when you recognize that you've got all the same ideas and gifts and talents as anyone who ever lived in your own way, and you quit comparing yourself to everyone else. I'm not as far as him. I'm not as smart as him. I can't do it like him. Yeah, you can't do it like him or her, or you're not as far as them because you have your own path. You have your own gift. You have your own way to show up in the world. And when you connect to that inner vision, when the voice within is louder than the opinions outside of yourself, then you've stepped into real power. Then you can create an amazing life for yourself and inspire others to do the same. So be sure to share this. Again, I'm Jake Ducey. Thank you for being on. Remember, that's not part of my belief system. Comment in your biggest takeaway. I'm going to go back and read through everyone's comments. So comment in your biggest takeaway. I'd love to know what they are. And be sure to give a thank you to Kasim for setting this up. And have an amazing day. Just as soon as a lot of us quit accepting the negativity of the world, it's like there's crazy things happening, but it doesn't have to make you have a pessimistic view of the future. It doesn't have to. And you can still be informed about all the things happening in the world, but just I invite you to, I have so much hope for our future. We have amazing technological advancements. We can connect. We're all connected from like 50 countries all over the world in a matter of seconds through the internet. Like we can do amazing things. You have amazing things and opportunities that you can step to. And remember, last thing, Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? He said, The genius you see in others is your own rejected ideas. So what would happen if you finally gave yourself permission to succeed, to finally step into your dreams, to finally accept and embrace your desires, and you moved confidently in the direction of them? I promise you amazing things can happen. So comment in, let me know what some of those big takeaways are. Share this video, like this video, send some final hearts, say hello to me. Go make everyone around you smile. And remember, none of the negativity has to be part of your belief system.